And then today happens when you come to campus and the students move in, and in a couple of days they will be physically going to classes where they will challenge me and other professors, challenge each other, support each other, and find ways to learn in situations of improvisation and spontaneity that is completely unpredictable and joyful and intense and scary and wonderfully productive. I was saying to someone before that I'm running this online class for the second time, and the students are, there's somehow 20,000, 30,000 students enrolled in this class. They're watching videos, they have different reactions. And it's so bizarre to me because they're the same videos as last time, right? The videos don't change, the students are different. But if in the classroom, when the students are different, the professor changes. When I teach the class, I'm teaching the past on film again. I've taught it a gazillion times. Every time I teach it, it's different. Because the first question in the class makes a huge difference. What happened that week in the news makes a big difference. The fact that a student is crying because now Voyager really touched her is interesting and might lead to a conversation that takes the lecture in a completely different direction. That kind of improvisational learning is the great gift of a small liberal arts institution. And I'm so excited for your students, and it's true that I love the summertime and I have a great time reading and writing and getting a little exercise, but it's so exciting for me as a teacher and as the president to welcome your sons and daughters to campus so we can get back in the classroom and see what happens when we confront really smart, eager, curious, relatively immature people. Yeah, it's better that way. All I mean by that is open and flexible. With great works of art, great works of literature, landmark things in science, issues of enormous importance here in Middletown and around the world. See what happens when we confront them, because that will make us change as teachers, make us get better as thinkers, researchers, scholars. I'm fond of saying that I hope your students get three things out of their education at Wesleyan. I really hope, and you may have heard me, forgive me if you've heard me say this before, I hope that while they're here, they discover what they love to do. And that's a challenge for students of the kind who get into a highly selective university like Wesleyan. It's a challenge to discover what you love to do, because for a long time already, your sons and daughters have been told what they're good at. They get A's, they get 750s on their SATs, they get medals in sports or trophies and applause in theater and the arts. They've been told how to be successful. They've been groomed to be successful so they can get into places like Wesleyan. But all the time at places like Wesleyan, and certainly all the time here at this university, we meet young men and women who say, I'm really good at history, let's say, but I love neuroscience or music or theater. I'm really good at track, but I want to do jazz dance. Oh, I'm really great at jazz dance, but I really want to see if I can throw the javelin. People trying to understand not what they can be rewarded for, but what they really love to do, what they find meaningful, not what they will just be reinforced for doing. Because when they begin that process of discovering what they love to do, they are much more likely, I think, to do something unexpected, surprising, and gratifying for them and those around them. They should discover what they love to do while they're in college, because Lord knows it's harder the older you get. It's harder to then discover what you love to do. The freedom to experiment, the freedom to explore in a safe environment that's challenging but safe, that is a great gift of the education in the liberal arts. So I hope they discover what they love to do, but I also hope they get better at it. It's very important to me because it's not enough to discover that you love throwing the javelin if you're like me and would likely throw it the wrong way. It's not enough to discover you love science if you're not rising to the occasion to master the mathematics or have the discipline to do the lab work. What we want our students to do at Wesleyan is when they discover what they love to do, to be pushed to get better at it and to see how far they can throw the javelin in the right direction, whether they're writing a musical to be performed here, or writing an article for a scholarly journal, or starting a company, or building a school. We want that school to be really good, and not just to say, we really admire you because you have a good heart. No, we want you to have a good heart, and we want the school to be really good if you build it. The third thing is sharing that work with other people. It's not enough that you find out what you love to do and that you get really good at it. We want to see what other people think of it. We want to see how it works in the world. We want to see how your peers evaluate it. We want to see how experts evaluate it. We want to see if it works out in the world. We want you to have the experience of testing your thinking against the realities off campus, beyond the university. We want you, as students at Wesleyan, we want you to share your work with others. And some people will do that through civic engagement, through service learning. They will tutor. We have hundreds and hundreds of students tutoring in the schools around here. We have hundreds more working in internships around the world, some of them in not-for-profits, some of them starting companies, all of them trying to see if what they've learned on campus is going to work off campus. Liberal education is not about learning to do things that have no use in the world, to show you're in the upper class, to show you're a gentleman, as it used to be, to learn things that would set you apart from people who work. No, liberal education today, pragmatic liberal education today, is learning things on campus in a broad contextual way that gives you a kind of intellectual cross-training so you can translate what you've learned on campus to what you're going to do off campus. So that you can take the power of your prose, of your reading, of your math, of your art, of your science, your social science, and you could take that off campus and use it in meaningful work that other people around you find compelling, important, are grateful for. Today, as you know, undoubtedly is the anniversary of the March on Washington. In the spring of this year, it'll be the anniversary, the 50th anniversary of Dr. King's baccalaureate address at Wesleyan, actually, in the spring of 14. We will be marking that event. And one of the things that is so stirring about that speech in Washington in 1963, of course, was that Dr. King challenged us, tested us, and stimulated us to expand our moral imagination. And I believe that what happens to many Wesleyan students while they're here, mostly from their classmates, a lot from their professors and from the staff with whom they work, and from their experiences in this town, what happens to many students at this university is that their moral imagination is expanded. And when you fuse an active, capacious moral imagination with the energy that comes from knowing what you love to do and have gotten good at it, man, the sky's the limit. You can address the major problems that face us. You can see opportunities that other people don't see. You can make music that people will stand up and dance to. You can write stories that will make people laugh or cry. You can cure disease. You can do work that you love. And you can stimulate those around you to be so proud of what you've accomplished. I hope you'll join me in celebrating the learning and the challenges and the contributions of our students as they go through these 4 years. Thank you for being part of Wesleyan. Thank you for your great attention, and I hope to see you out on the Huss courtyard, weather permitting, to shake your hands. Welcome to Wesleyan.